My name is Olu Taiwo, and I'd like to welcome you viewers to this maiden edition in our series, personal safeguarding. Um, for the next few weeks or thereabout, I hope to bring um, to your living rooms or wherever you uh, might be able to watch this program, um, issues within our society that we need to personally safeguard ourselves against in order to be able to live a peaceful life. We'll be looking at issues around safeguarding against harassment at work, harassment, safeguarding against harassment um, from the police, harassment from all angles. And we will also be looking at, we will also be touching on responsibilities and rights as well, in order for us to be able to live our lives without much stress. It is no gainsaying that the economy is bad, and it is gladdening that even the government and all the agencies have not shied away from attempting to put the blame where the blame actually belongs, and as the blame the blame should actually be with the banks who have destroyed the economy, and who are now, quite unfortunately, are trying to put all the stress on individuals as a result of what has happened. It is obvious that many people have lost their jobs. Many are scared of losing their jobs. Everybody is being asked to tighten his or her belt. But we've got to realize that it's a belt that, if is anybody who has a belt, that will have anything to tighten in that regard. And it is obvious that many of us will have to actually review the way we live our lives in order to be able to live long. Now, today we're going to look at personal safeguarding against what I call harassment by banks and financial institutions. I don't know anyone in this country today. Well, I think, don't let me say that. I will be wrong if I said that I don't know anybody who probably doesn't have a loan. I know people who don't have a loan at this moment, but it is obvious that majority of the populace are in one form of debt or the other, and yours truly inclusive. And it's been based on my experiences so far that I have decided to come out with what I consider to be a way for us to be able to live our lives without too much stress. Firstly, may I address the financial institution, especially the banks. Chief executives of banks and workers, you've got to realize one thing. Yes, it's a fact that people have taken loans from you, people owe you money. It's not just people, institutions owe money, countries owe money. May I please appeal to you, the amount of stress, the amount of pressure, the amount of unnecessary intimidation you bring to the lives of those who owe you money is unsustainable. And I would like to say to you that some people, is on record that some people have actually done terrible things to themselves simply because they found it very unbearable the way you were harassing them and the way they could not cope when they were just trying to put their life together and begin all over again. I would like to warn you, what you do, the stress you give, the constant harassment, the constant telephone calls that you make up to 10 or 20 times in a day is not going to bring money from where there is no money. If anyone does not have money, there is no way that person is going to be able to pay anything. You may decide to ring or telephone that person more than 100 times a day. It's not going to change anything. And if that person should find it very unbearable to cope with your harassment and he decides to do something terrible to himself or herself, you will have to find yourself to blame. Posterity will never ever forgive you. Now, what would you have done to the family of anybody who decides to hurt himself simply because he's finding it highly unbearable to cope with the stress you are giving to him or her as a result of loan that he or she has not been able to repay or cannot even make arrangement to pay? I would like to advise you. You need to be reasonable. You need to look at people's circumstances and then try and work out a reasonable solution. Harassment, intimidation, threats of that you will damage people's credit rating, you will take their homes, you will go and get charging orders, you will send bailiffs, you would do all sorts. All the intimidating threats that you make. All these things are not going to change anything if this person does not either have a job nor earn any money. So we've got to realize that. And I would like to just appeal to you. You've got to be reasonable in the way you carry out your activities in an attempt to recover money owed. And if, as I said earlier on, if anything terrible should happen to anybody who owes you money, you have lost money. But the family of this person will have lost a human being. And it is doubtful whether they will ever be able to forgive you. Now, let me come to you, my colleagues, if I may call you my colleagues, in trying to rebuild our lives. I don't regret ever attempting to better the lot of my family by investing in this country. And if for one reason or the other, some people and some organizations have decided to destroy the economy to the point that it has now affected the investments that many of us have put in place, unfortunately, I don't have any apologies. All I've got to try to do is to rebuild my life. And that's why I'm appealing to you, my friends, my brothers, my sisters, my colleagues. Please do not allow the constant intimidation and harassment from these financial institutions to weigh you down. Do not let that, influence the way you relate to your family, your wife, your husband, your children, your extended family. Do not let that affect your health. If you allow your health to be affected, it is not going to stop these banks and other financial institutions from chasing you for their money. And if your health is so much affected to the point that you are unable to do anything anymore, then you have to find yourself. It will be terrible. So you've got to keep your head. You've got to find a way of just discussing with these institutions. Look, this is the situation. Please don't get me wrong. I will appeal to you. If you have money, you have money, you can cope. Just go and pay and stop borrowing money. Many of us have felt that we could not survive in this country without borrowing money. Were we borrowing money from our home countries? If I may ask you, my brother, my sister, especially those of us who are from West Africa, when you were building your house, did you have anybody to give you a loan? Did any bank give you any mortgage? Did you have to borrow money to buy your television, to buy your car, to buy everything? Why have we decided to live a borrowed life in an environment where we know that it is obviously going to be very difficult to be able to pay back, especially if things happen the way they have happened in the last few years? So we need to actually be wiser now to know that we don't have to live a borrowed life. So whatever we cannot afford to get, let us try and save towards it. Don't go and take money and attempt to be paying back to some people. Now, all I have to say is please and please, let us put our hearts together. Let us put our trust in God. Let us continue to pray. Let us continue to dream. And let's continue to, actualize our dreams. Let's take steps towards actualizing the dreams. I believe that things are going to get better. It can only get better. It cannot get worse. So please do not for any reason succumb to the harassment and intimidation that you are constantly being, bombarded with by the banks and the financial institutions. At the end of the day, should you succumb to such, it's not going to help you in any way to rebuild your life and to getting your life back. I would like to stop here for today. Next time, we might be looking at responsibilities and rights, issues about police, issues about the justice system. But please, the most important one is this about your, the ability to be able to earn, the ability to start to live our lives again, the ability to start to service or pay back the loan that we have incurred. That is what we need to do right away. And if we are able to just put our heads together and realize that this is something we've got to do, not minding the harassment and the constant intimidation from the financial institutions. See, let me say something to you. There is nothing these people can do to you. The worst case scenario is a custodial sentence. And I've never seen it anywhere that you went into an agreement, contractual agreement with an organization, and for one reason or the other you have defaulted because you cannot afford to meet up with it, then that will lead to imprisonment. No, it's not going to happen. But that's the worst case scenario. Even if that happens, it's still not going to give money to these banks and the financial institutions. So you don't have to give yourself stress. Put your mind at rest. Be calculate. Just work in a calculating manner. Discuss responsibly and reasonably with these institutions. Even though I will tell you, as you must know already, they don't want to listen. They don't want to be reasonable. Try as much as possible to do that. Keep your records of conversations and discussions and correspondence, and then let's see what is going to happen at the end of the day as you struggle, as you work towards getting your life back and getting something better for you and your family. I wish you the best. I know it can always get better. We can make our lives to turn around. And if I may echo Barack Obama here, yes, we can. Thank you and God bless you.